The season of AI, baby. Don't put that in the highlight reel of like the stuff.
Definitely going in the highlight reel. The title is Influencers Take.
From gut feel.
I'm not doing
We
it.
jumped a little bit.
Did I go too quickly? We could be like a influencer marketing podcast boy band. He's done 3 park runs and he's like, we're going to bring this to Cannes. We're going to be the very first person or company to ever think of this idea at Cannes. And then on the way here this morning, I realized...
We ran past 26 run clubs.
We talked about all things measurement and influencer marketing throughout the 5Ks, and now we're going to continue that conversation.
AI is starting to enable our teams to spend more time on the human element and less time on the operational and technical stuff.
And I needed to think about what to do next, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to get involved in business. And then now that's evolved to also investing.
I think we've helped brands over the years understand that influencers are people. I think we're still at the beginning of our AI journey in terms of campaign management. And I see in our business AI trickling up from the bottom. The industry talks a good game about AI, but to be honest, most people aren't going to see it. It's going to operate in the background. It's going to help us do measurement studies better. It's going to help us select creators better. The non-human bits are being taken up by AI, which leaves the team more time to focus on the human bit. That makes for better content. Employing smart people who know their stuff in the industry is what's paid us dividends.
The cool things about being an influencer today is a lot of our competitors maybe have had, highs and lows and whatever, and I feel like right now we're on this path where we're just getting better and better. And if we've managed to already get to where we are now, and if we continue to get better and better, I'm really excited to where it's going to come.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming. I'm very, very excited for this podcast. The title is Influencers Take.
From gut feel.
We jumped a little bit.
Did I go too quickly?
Okay. The title is Influencers Take on the AI transformation.
From gut feel.
I'm not doing it.
To smart scale.
I thought that was great. We could be like a influencer marketing podcast boy band.
Yes.
That's what we should try and become.
And we should always go for a run before.
Yeah, you need to mention that.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to give a bit of context for what we just did this morning?
Yeah.
Well, Nick called me up 3 months ago and he said, I think we need to do a run at Cannes because he's into his running now.
Three park runs under my belt.
He's done 3 park runs and he's like, we're going to bring this to Cannes. We're going to be the very first person or company to ever think of this idea at Cannes. And then on the way here this morning, I realised...
ran past 26 run clubs in a row.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity for the merch.
Yeah.
Max is donning the cap, and what I really like is you've still got the tag in the top.
Have I? Oh gosh, that's embarrassing. Let's get that off.
And now a little piece of plastic just sticking out.
We talked about all things measurement and influencer marketing throughout the 5Ks, and now we're going to continue that conversation.
Our favourite topic.
Yeah.
And everything AI.
Exactly.
As well.
Don't get me started.
AI plan.
Caspar loves AI.
I think AI was involved in the route planning.
Should we do maybe a quick round of intros? You could say name, role, and I'll give a bit more context to that as well.
Yeah, so I'm Caspar. I'm a co-founder at influencer.com or Influencer, and I guess my role is Chief Vision Officer. I was a creator for 12 years, and I also do some investing.
Can't really top that, can I? So I'm Nick Speller. Do I need to say that? Probably not. I'm Nick. I'm the UK and Europe MD at Influencer, or influencer.com for our audience in America.
I love that.
I'm really excited for this one. Influence turns 10 years. Turned 10 years old, a couple months ago?
Yeah, so my co-founder and our incredible CEO started the company, I think while he was still at Bath or just leaving Bath 10 years ago. That's when he filed to register Influencer, and I met him a little bit after that.
Yeah.
It was a funny story. I got to be part of this YouTube campaign called I think YouTube Next Up or something, where they put billboards up around London. I hope you saw them, Nick.
Emblazoned across Piccadilly Circus.
Did you see that? No. Okay. But we've told this story many times, so I feel like he thinks he was there, but unfortunately he didn't see them. Ben saw one of those beautiful posters. Well, I say beautiful. It wasn't very good looking at the time, basically he asked his friend, who was my girlfriend at the time, if he could have an introduction, because he thought I might be someone interesting to meet as part of the business, and that introduction turned into where we are today now.
How many times did you say no?
To be honest, to the introduction, yeah, once or twice, but I was a great boyfriend, and I did it, and I grit my teeth, and I walked into that room, and instantly I was like, wow, okay, this is actually really exciting, and I learned a valuable lesson, which is like, meet everyone you can, because you never know where.
Especially while it can.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, up top. Come on, Ben.
Did you say Ben?
I just called you Ben. I was like, come on, Ben. Oh, did anyone hear that?
So I founded a company 10 years ago. I was a student at Bath at the time, studying molecular biology and psychology major. No, I actually, before I started Influencer, I was at Havas, big media agency. And I remember to this day walking into the office, and a colleague of mine, now a friend of mine called Kat, turned around to me and she goes, oh, did you know Caspar Lee's founded his own influencer agency? And I was literally like, I don't know what that. I don't know what those words mean. What's a Caspar Lee? And he's founded a what?
You always do this.
Genuinely didn't know. I knew Josh Peters.
Yeah. So much love, yeah.
And,
you knew Josh Peters?
Yeah, because we'd done a Domino's deal. I think you were in the ad he did. I know Ben was in the ad and then got cropped out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the client didn't like him for some reason.
Reason why I bring up the 10 years is to, I mean, this is a real feat.
Survive for 10 years.
You guys didn't just, you weren't just part of the creator economy, you really helped.
We're the originators.
Originators, and you helped shape it.
Thank you.
As well.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's also part of it. Like, obviously I joined the company, but we also have investors who are creators, and a lot of those creators were at the very start of this industry, and yeah, I think I'm what you call the second wave of YouTubers, and now there's probably like 55 waves, but there's some real OGs out there who I'm a big fan of and inspired me, so.
I've taken a couple of notes of a few things I'd love for the audience to make sure that they hear about both of you before we jump in. But topics we'll be covering today, we'll be going over the 10 years of Influencer, from creator to force. Then we're going to from gut feel to smart scale, how AI is changing the game. We'll go into creator fluency at scale, and then what next from venture to ecosystem. Very cool. On the intros, Caspar, you were one of the first ever YouTubers to break into mainstream. You've built a massive multi-million following, collaborated with the likes of Ed Sheeran, Dwayne Johnson, and Kevin Hart.
Thank you.
You started in a global production as well, multiple, co-founded Influencer and a talent management firm with a friend of yours, Joe Sugg. You're a family man. You co-authored the Sunday Times bestseller with your mother.
I did. Well, she wrote most of it, but...
And you built a very successful VC fund, Creator Ventures, the $65 million fund, backing the next generation of internet culture. Very much helping shape the ecosystem. So really exciting to have you here.
Thank you.
And Nick.
I'm waiting for this. And Nick.
Nick, well, you just haven't put all of your accomplishments online. You keep them to yourself. Every time I do anything, I make sure it goes online.
Nick, you got an A+ when you were 5 for drawing a picture of a teacher. It's on the fridge at home. And now you're a work for Influencer. Anyway, moving on to AI.
You've been with Influencer for nearly 7 years now.
That's true, yeah.
Holding multiple leadership roles across commercial, business strategy, and client services. You've helped bring it to life. Scaled operations, led cross-market growth, championed creator-first thinking inside one of the most scaled influence marketing teams in the world. And now you're the managing director of the UK.
When I applied for another job, Max is doing my application for me. That was brilliant. Yeah, I was like, who is this guy? Yeah,
you're gonna do your own? Are you gonna show us? Can you gonna give us your background like that, or is this about?
If you guys want to do one for me right now,
we have to do it.
You go.
Max is a successful founder of a measurement
and a mathematical
business,
genius,
and has rented a boat in Cannes, so he must have some money knocking around.
I'll take that.
I thought that probably won't get you the job, but you won't need one because you're so successful.
We'll go into 10 years of Influencer. Going to ask both of you a couple of questions within this. So, Caspar, you co-founded Influencer over a decade ago as a creator yourself, long before influencer marketing was mainstream. What did you see earlier that others didn't? And Nick, you've helped shape and scale influence over the past 7 years. What's the core DNA behind influencer's longevity and evolution?
I mean, I don't know if I saw something that others didn't. I just kind of got lucky to discover YouTube. And basically, since then, I've just made some decisions, and some of them have gone well and some of them haven't, but luckily a few have gone quite nicely. And I think, basically going from being a YouTuber to thinking, what's this going to look like in the future? Do I always want to be a creator, or can I get involved in the other side as well and like help shape this industry? And I had the opportunity, as we mentioned, to meet someone like Ben. And then also there are a few other things I got involved in, and I think I just took every opportunity I could. And in terms of being early, I think that is slightly lucky. I can't say I was like looking through 50 industries and going, this is going to be the big one day, I should put all my eggs in this basket. It just happened because it's something I wanted to do. It was really fun when I was younger. So yeah.
Sounds very organic.
It is, yeah. And I think you can kind of, obviously, you listen to a lot of podcasts and you hear about people who go, oh, I did this, I planned this. It's easy in hindsight to create that story.
Yeah.
And I can put together a story like that, but I think, to be honest, it's more organic. But it's once you have something going and you have momentum, it's then like really trying to think about what can you do now that's going to hopefully set you up for years to come. And that's why I try and tell other creators who are doing really well, because when I was at my peak, like I could have just sat back on YouTube and been like, this is going to last forever, but I knew that wouldn't have happened. I knew that one day it was going to get a lot more difficult, or I was, my incredible good looks were going to fade. Thank you. And I needed to think about what to do next, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to get involved in business. And then now that's evolved to also investing. So yeah.
There's definitely something in that you've always been at the cutting edge without necessarily maybe even knowing it. Sounds just like very innate to you. Like YouTube early on, already there, not even just wanting to be complacent within YouTube, looking at the next thing and doing that with AI, which we'll touch on later.
And it's funny because at the time you don't feel like you're that early. That's what's also interesting, because like there were lots of other YouTubers, and then with influencer marketing there were other influencer marketing companies, but you're still early because 99% of people weren't taking it seriously yet. So that's quite interesting.
The industry was still early, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's the interesting point.
Yeah, but at the time you don't always realize that. That's why I say to people, like, they go, oh, everyone's thinking about like AI right now. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. And everyone's doing it, but you're still early. Like, you're still early compared to like the vast majority. So,
I mean, we're now in the third year here of Cannes, where they're talking about the creator economy. 2 years ago, it was this exciting new thing. Last year, it was the thing.
yeah.
Right? And Cannes kind of sets the tone as to what is the focus. But it really feels like the world's now just catching up to influence marketing at scale.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Although I think in part it's led by the social networks, who've woken up to the fact that they're a platform that needs content. Well, they are platforms that need content, and creators produce that content.
Yeah.
And I actually think, not to disparage them at all, but in the early days they didn't really pay that much attention to it. So folks like
That
Caspar,
sounded very disparaging.
Yeah, folks like Caspar produced this YouTube content, and YouTube were probably like, well, this is fantastic, but it was happening.
Yeah.
They didn't really steer it, they didn't get involved. They were like, this is just happening and it's great and people come into our platform. I think after a few years they were like, well, hang on, we might need to get involved in steering this, we might need to get involved in promoting this. As Caspar said, I'm sure wave after wave of YouTubers have come along, grown fatigued, gone and done something else, and YouTube are probably looking at it going, well, there's another wave coming, but actually that might not happen, so we should probably get more involved in making sure it does happen. So we're nurturing talent, we're showing people the opportunities that exist as content creators. And I think that's what I mean by not being disparaging. I don't think before they were like content creators. I think now they're like being more strategic. Yeah. And therefore, as those companies come here and fund a lot of this, they are pushing that message on to the brands and the other companies.
They're being very strategic with the brand angle, which is super important, because even though the content happens organically, and I think it still will continue to happen organically, for people to want to be on platforms, they need to be able to make money to fund that content as it gets more competitive. And that's not a completely organic thing in the advertising industry. You need to find ways to make that happen. And the platforms do a great job at building the platform, but they work with partners like us who can like help feed that properly and work with our partners and our advertisers.
There is a danger of letting it go organic, and I know the one thing that always comes up over the years, something like Fire Festival, but it is the sort of benchmark of that. If you just let influencer marketing do its thing as a platform, there is a danger that it goes and does something so bad it trips up the whole apple cart, if that's even a saying.
Yeah.
And so you want to get involved in it. Trips up the apple cart. So you get involved in that, you want to actually steer it, you want to reduce, we used to talk, still do, but used to talk a lot more about, brand risk, reputational risk, making sure that creators were sort of, as clean as could be that you were going to work with. Whereas actually that's becoming a standard now. So actually when we talk to brands about it, it's still an important thing, but most content creators know if they're going to make a living out of this, they need to act accordingly and act appropriately.
Would you say that that's perhaps the DNA, is like this lens of a focus of trying to help creators? Is that
influencer?
Yes, within influencer.
For me, it's giving them options. So, like, when I was starting out, there weren't that many options of brands I could work with, so I ended up working with the ones that were wanting to do deals.
Yeah.
And the more brand, now there are lots of options out there because every brand has some sort of influencer marketing or creator marketing strategy, and so for us to be able to help creators now go, actually you can choose based on what works, and the same things are happening with brands as well. There's a lot of options for brands, so giving both sides options allows for better content and collaboration.
I think we've helped brands over the years understand that influencers are people.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes gets lost, but definitely in the early days, a lot of brands were like, well, it's just another marketing channel. And all their other marketing channels are people-less, they're faceless, they're billboards, out of home, digital, whatever. And they start trying to apply that to an industry that's full of people, and it's difficult for them. We'd help brands understand that, and in doing so, make life somewhat better, somewhat easier for influencers to exist and make money in this ecosystem.
You touched on the platforms. You guys have a wonderful partnership with TikTok. You do a lot of great work together with them. You've been at this forefront of scaling this and bringing this all to life. Has that essence of caring for the people, caring for the creators been a core element of that? Or what's been consistent through the different evolutions of being able to find ways to scale influencer marketing?
I think it's most boring. There are a lot of moving parts in influencer marketing.
Yeah.
And again, there's a lot of those moving parts are human. It's about creating an operational structure that drives efficiency, but making sure it doesn't do it to the point where that human element is lost. And I think that is what we've done well. But to Caspar's point about kind of organic
smart
growth,
scale.
Yeah, smart scale.
Yeah.
I think it's almost something that we don't have that written down. It's not like there's a statement somewhere and we're like, that's an ideal we're living up to. It's just a natural outcome of the people we've employed and the way they look at the industry.
I think it's deep as part of the culture.
Yeah. Well, but what we do have written down that I guess is closely aligned to that is trying to funnel like $1 billion in X amount of time to creators. And for us is like, we're like, as in this industry, we're competing still with other advertising formats, and the more we can convince our clients about this format, and it's happening, you're seeing big agency groups now talking about how they want to do it. You're seeing massive businesses saying that they're going to 10x their influencer spend, and so if we're helping to funnel more into the industry, either by us doing it directly or us inspiring brands to do it in other areas, then that's going to give creators more options, and then by that happening, it'll be better content ultimately for the audiences. Because I think that's another key aspect to this whole industry that people sometimes talk about less. They talk about the brands and the creators, but ultimately it's all of us who end up watching that stuff. And if it can be slightly more engaging and better relationships between brands and creators, then I think audiences enjoy it more.
This tees in really nicely to part 2. Just from gut feel to smart scale.
Beautiful.
And how AI is changing the game.
Oh, don't get me started. No, come on, Nick.
I'll take 5. Come back
In
in
5? You've already done in 5.
Take 20.
So influencer has always been tech forward, but now we're in a new wave. Hint, hint. Waves?
Yeah. Oh, Waves is our platform.
We're not getting any of this, by the way. You're full of subtle hints, and Caspar and I just sat here like, yeah, Waves, crack on. Yeah, we're on the sea.
I'd love for you to unpack what AI unlocks for campaign planning, creator matchmaking, delivery, and beyond. I want to talk about the shift from gut feel to smart scale. Questions for both of you. Nick, you've written before about balancing automation and the human layer. When Influence launched Waves years ago, I wonder where that line is today. And Caspar, what's most exciting to you about how AI can help scale the power of creators?
Who's going first? In truth, I think we're still at the beginning of our AI journey in terms of campaign management. And I see in our business AI trickling up from the bottom, if that makes any sense. And it's doing those things which are, as most AIs come in to do, those things that are mundane, those things that are dull. In fact, it's doing those things which aren't the human element. Because, again, lots of moving parts in an influencer campaign. A lot of them are human, a lot of them aren't. The non-human bits are being taken up by AI, which leaves the team more time to focus on the human bits. So the communications with influencers. And to go back to Caspar's point around content, that makes for better content. Because if you're, as a campaign manager, not doing quite so much mundane admin, but you're focusing on the creator briefing. If you're spending more time talking to the creators, if you're getting them to understand the brand and the campaign better, that's going to lead to better content. So I think, if anything, AI is starting to enable our teams to spend more time on the human element and less time on the operational and technical stuff, which is kind of the way we'd want to push it. I don't think we'd ever want a system where you're just leaning into that kind of, I don't know, programmatic, automated, a system that's blasting out saying, hey, Caspar, do you want to do this brief? Here's the brief, submit your content here, and there's no human at the end of that. Because I think, while from a business perspective, sure, efficiency savings, increased profits, reduced campaign costs, whatever, great. From a content output perspective, it's probably going to drive quite dull, quite boring, quite repetitive, quite meaningless content, which at the end of the day is not going to make for good advertising.
And it's still a relationship game on both sides. Like, even though you're working with a lot of creators and we have thousands of them signed up, when you're doing campaigns, the relationship matters in making sure it works and performs well. And there's so many, with influencer marketing, I don't think people realize how many edge cases there are in campaigns, from a creator having to receive a package, to getting on a flight, to just all of these things that, while AI can help and all of that, it's important that the people are still involved in it. And in terms of some of the stuff that maybe isn't just a natural thing that's happening to all businesses that we're doing within influencer marketing, I think it would be good to touch on when it comes to AI, things like content analysis at scale. Something that used to take a long time when you're looking for creators and you want to find insights, not just from the audience insights based on things like demographics, but you actually want to see what the creators have done over the last maybe 100 videos they've uploaded. How many times have they spoken about this company? That used to take a long time. It used to be a lot more expensive, and now you're able to, partnering with a company called Memories AI. It's got a product called Mavi, and they're able to do it very well, very cost effective. And that's also the other thing that people forget when they talk about AI. Some of these things are super expensive. They're almost more expensive to use still today than just people. So it's also waiting for the right moment where it doesn't, cost more than it would without. And I'd rather have people do that work. It depends what it is, but for most of it, it's,
Well, and there's a cost involved as well in carving out the time you need to experiment with the AI. That's the other thing we found. And you have to commit generally expensive resource on that as well, because you've got to have someone, operations director, someone like that, who's sitting there going, okay, how do we make this work? And they're going to go through a lot of trial and error. That has a cost. The tech itself has a cost. And you might find that actually you go back to the beginning and go, well, and I know a lot of the big tech companies have done this. They've gone, well, actually, it's cheaper just to hire some people to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I hear, there's so many stories, and this is not just in AI, but in software in general, where people there's a software I bought, it costs 50 grand a year, and then you realize, what? You could have just hired a part-timer to do that. So sometimes you got to really think, it all sounds great holistically, and it is, it's all great. But
I suppose the investment of 50 grand a year now, building into your system, you're expecting that cost to reduce. And that cost doesn't get sick, that cost doesn't go on holiday. And eventually, once you get that down to 20k, 10k, 5k, if you were an early adopter, you'd like to think that you're going to be ahead of the game. I think
It'll be part of your
I have an
operating
argument
system.
with
You won't be.
With Nick. Ben, Nick, Luke, what's your name today? To have an argument with you.
Is it because I said that jibe about not knowing who Caspar is, isn't it?
Because I want to make this a debate and an argument. The other issue is adopting which software you're going to adopt now that takes some time to adopt. And then because things are moving so quickly, startups are being built every day, Google's changed, they'll announce something crazy and you're like, shit, we just spent the last 3 months bringing this in, and now someone's just brought something that's 10 times better, 5 times cheaper.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go in
Do
that
the whole
direction.
thing
So it's
again.
almost like a bit of it, what you said to me is like, how much of it do you force? You send this product. How much do you like to force this AI culture versus like allow parts of it to happen slowly, and then over time you find out, okay, this is going to be the winning formula.
I'm not going to take credit for what I'm about to say because I think it sounds intelligent, but it's actually a guy whose name I forgot speaking at OMR in Germany, and it was one of the only talks in English, and I just happened to had some time in between and caught the end of it, and he was saying we're currently in a phase with AI of like active. You have to actively go and find, as Caspar said, the tech.
Yeah.
You have to then go and research whether it can be applied. You have to do all the tests and learning, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, at the minute, we are in that. We've got these technologies, but people have to go and apply them. And he said, the real genius of AI will be when it becomes passive. So actually, it will be forced upon you, like your team. You won't have to train your team in how to prompt it. Google will turn around and go, it's now working for you, and you kind of wake up one morning and won't realise that it's doing it. And I was thinking this we had a brief come in from a big global trainer brand, and AI building out the deck. You can do clever things now, like say, give me a picture of an influencer wearing this pair of trainers as a front cover. Done. Don't have to go and search for that image. It's done. It's just in there. But like that's still active. Still got to actively make that decision. Whereas actually passive AI would be, I get an email from this brand saying, hey, we'd love you guys to pitch. And all of a sudden, Google are like, well, I've built you your deck. Yeah. Your deck is now built. I've taken all of the USPs of influencer. I've thrown out 3 of them because they're not relevant to this brief. What do you think? And we were talking about this last night at dinner. You almost then, your staff, your team almost become the editors of content. And I was likening it to years ago when I worked in publishing. It's like as an editor, you don't do any, you do a lot of work, but you don't do any work. You don't write a book. You have an author write the book. As Caspar and his mum did, send it to an editor. In general, unless the author's awful, sort of 90% of the book's done. But as the editor, you are finessing that 10%, which is really important. You're like playing around with the structure, you're changing the logic, you're correcting the spelling mistakes, things like that. That's kind of where we'll get to, I think, with AI quite quickly, is that our teams, for a campaign management or a pitch or whatever, will be passive in that AI will say, well, you've just been briefed on a call and I've now built you your timeline. I've now started to pull together creators, but I'm asking you the question as the AI, is this what you want? And you're going to refine that. And the beauty of AI, as this guy was saying in Germany, is not only do you do that once, but the second you do that once, AI learns, and then you replicate that 50, 100 times across the business every month. And all of a sudden, by month 2, you're editing 2%, 1%.
The thing that's fascinating with that as well is the way that works is it'll be learning simultaneously across all the members in your team that are using this.
You guys were making fun of me for talking, like I was going to talk about AI and like go on. This has become the...
Excited
you guys are the AI, AI kings over here.
I just heard one talk and fell into it.
You
But
made an interesting point of the cost
of
training and upskilling, and because what you will have there is a period of losing efficiency, right? Like
it's the hockey stick curve, isn't it? Start here, go there, and end up there. It's like you're going to see that.
And then by the time it picks up, there's the new things. You have to go through that again. So actually, you have to be very proactive and thoughtful with how you go about these things. I think it's a good moment now to move into part 3, creator fluency at scale. Actually, no, before we do, I'd love to give one example. And Caspar, say if you can or can't talk about it, but you gave me an example of something that you saw when you were doing the judging this week.
When's this coming out?
This would be earliest in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now.
Then I can talk all about it.
Yeah.
Then we're good.
There was some real crap.
But you guys have to I'm going to make you sign a form after this, because I know after this podcast, Nick's going to go on the croisette with his loudspeaker and tell everyone.
I've got a very loud voice.
It was the
about it.
sort of linking between this like gut feel and smart scale. Like there was something that you saw that was very much a gut
Yeah.
feel. It'd be hard to imagine AI kind of pulling
Yeah.
this out right now. What was that? Like I asked you,
Yeah.
what was your favorite thing, your favorite ad that you saw when you were doing the judging?
Well, yeah. So this was an ad that I thought was a nice, easy one to explain. I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but it was like just. Yeah, I don't know if you saw McDonald's France basically during the Olympics when the French team got destroyed by basically Steph Curry on his own and obviously the US team. They said that they're getting rid of curry sauce off the menu for like at least 4 years, but they didn't say it in those exact words. It was beautiful copywriting, like perfect, and then
French?
in French, yeah.
Go on then.
Comment ça va? Something like that.
Sorry to everyone.
Yeah, it's really hard right now. AI is way too cringe to do something that great when it comes to copy at the moment.
Yeah.
And also it was the tough part as well would have been not just creating that piece of content, it would have been getting somehow McDonald's to allow you to do that when you're dealing with the Olympics, which is litigious. When you're dealing with the amount of lawyers who would have gotten involved in allowing you to do that. And then when you're also they were a small market within, obviously McDonald's is massive, and they're able to get that to happen. And then it gets picked up eventually by people like Steph Curry. It goes on talk shows. The bigger US McDonald's then gets involved. And yeah, it was just interesting how something so simple, but also behind the scenes so complicated, then can create such amazing results. And we were talking about how sometimes it's hard. That's not a great analogy for influence marketing because we don't do that exact thing. That's more like social media. But it's hard to sometimes convince people on really simple, easy ideas because they don't sound as complicated as they actually are, even though they are.
They had a feeling about it, right? Like it seemed just to be like in that time.
Real-time response, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's something we struggle with in our industry as well, because it takes time to create content and get sign-offs.
And that became a real moment. Yeah. Like Steph Curry was on talk shows afterwards where the tweet was up.
Didn't pay him.
Yeah.
And they made, the amount of people who ended up seeing that and also the brand love they got from that was amazing. So it was just we've seen some great stuff, but I think that was what I was trying to say is like most of the good stuff I've seen this year is stuff that seems very simple, but it's got lots of complexities to it.
Going into creator fluency at scale, I think that story ties in really neatly to this. So something that makes Influencer unique is it was co-founded by a creator, and that has I heard you speak about just the importance of not holding a creator account to a specific script and giving them some freedom, and that's been like a core theme that I'm sure undoubtedly has been part of scaling the operations as well. I wonder whether you've seen this sort of fluency intact as you've been scaling out global operations, onboarding partners like ThisThat as well, because it adds layers of complexity into that. Running more increasingly complex programs too. How do you train your team to think like a creator, but also operate like strategists at scale?
Wow, what a question.
I love that.
That is a tough...
I'm glad you asked that.
You're assuming we train anybody, which I joke, but actually, I'll be honest, I think there was a question you asked at the beginning, which I don't think we covered, maybe we did, was sort of like about influencer, 10 years, how do we get to where we are? I think the thing we did, and again, I'm not sure we sat down in a room and actually chose to do this, but employing smart people who know their stuff in the industry is what's paid us dividends. Where we've had those people, we've won great work, we've delivered great work, clients have been happy, accounts done really well. Where we haven't, the opposite's true, and we've had to make some quick decisions to then bring those kind of new people in who are that great. And I think it's about having people who think, those smart people think like creators. They also, to a certain extent, think like platforms. We were chatting earlier with a colleague, and someone genuinely thought that she had worked for one of the platforms because she knows the platform so well. And in fact, I was sort of joking, but not, like saying, I see emails come to her from the platform, and they're asking her questions about what they offer. They're like, can you tell us what product we offer here? We need to help this client out. And it's those kind of people thinking like a platform, thinking like a client, thinking like a creator. They're the people who really kind of propel the business forward. But I genuinely, and it's going to disparage us now, I think we've really trained people like that. I think people have come into it like that. And actually that's, I would say, become easier as influencer marketing's evolved, because back when Caspar first started doing it, back when I got involved, it wasn't really that much of an industry. And I had anyway, you probably didn't, had other careers in the past. But these guys have
I delivered pizza.
You deliver pizza, yeah. These guys have gone to uni, and people joining the company now have done written dissertations on influencer marketing, done masters in influencer marketing, have always had their sights in influencer marketing. So we've gone out and trained themselves in how a creator thinks, how a brand should think, how a brand does think, how a platform works, how a platform should think. And I think that's where, to answer that question, that's where we've been able to do that, is to bring those great people in who really understand the different stakeholders and their view.
You've been very good at hiring incredible talent in that journey as well.
In the early days, not so much, but now we've gone on a good run.
Around.
Yeah, can get rid of the guy. How many roles have I had? 12 or something.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think what Nick said is true. You don't come to influence and we sit you down and make you watch a training video.
We did have a training video. You started it.
Oh yeah, we tried that.
Watched it.
We tried that, but I think it's ultimately having good team members, good managers, everyone around you who's good, and we've hired those people in over time, and it's taken time, and I think that's one of the cool things about being an influencer today is a lot of our competitors maybe have had highs and lows and whatever, and I feel like right now we're on this path where we're just getting better and better. And if we've managed to already get to where we are now, and if we continue to get better and better, I'm really excited to where it's going to come. And yeah, some companies, when they get too big, or something changes or something happens, and you see the opposite happening. So yeah, I just feel like the longer we've been here, each year we've gotten slightly better with the people we've managed to attract.
It's amazing. I touched on it a second ago. You spoke about the importance of not scripting creators. And how the best work comes from freedom.
Freedom with a map.
Which we'll get to. I want to get to that sort of.
I like it.
With that, which is was part of the
talk tomorrow.
You used that in the talk.
Yeah,
not
the
long
creative
ago.
perspective.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
With the AI that's now in the scene and how that's evolving, the roof of creative limitations is blowing off. Got about 3 questions here. How do you think about the right level of brand prescription map? Is it an association? Is it a one-line statement? How do you nurture those 1 + 1 = 3 moments between brand identity and creator expression?
So in terms of if it's like, it's a sentence or just showing a product, or it all depends on the campaign and what they're trying to achieve. So yeah, there are times in the past where I've created a piece of content for a brand and I thought, wow, this has got 500,000 views on Instagram and 40,000 likes, and that's better than most of my brand deals. And then we've actually got it looked at by people like you, and it turns out that the audience didn't actually know about the brand. They didn't know they were involved. They just thought it was a cool piece of content, and then we compare it to someone who got 100,000 views and 5,000 likes, and every single one of those views and likes were engaging with the brand and so on. So it depends, firstly, what you're trying to achieve. I think most creators, even though they want to get lots of views, ultimately they also want to make the brand happy, especially if it's a brand they want to work with again. And that's what we also learned during Creative Perspectives is brands don't actually explain their objectives enough, their wider objectives to creators. And when they do, the creators get better and they feel involved and so on. So yeah, that's one element of the question. I think you asked quite a few questions there, but hopefully that's one part.
I think when you talk about the map as well, it's a really nice analogy, but I actually think the map is almost like a story. It's almost like the history.
Yeah.
Where we've been able to immerse creators in brands quickly and easily, and the brands, and they get a good and firm understanding of it. And it helps if it's a brand that they already know, obviously, but sometimes it's a new brand coming to market, so they're not going to know it. That really helps because then the creator's like, well, I get what this brand are trying to do. I get the audience they're trying to reach. And again, to Caspar's point, if you tell them what the outcome is, what are you actually trying to do at a basic level? Are you just trying to raise awareness of this new product? Do you want people to go to an event on a certain date? Tell the creators that and ask them the question of how would you, essentially as a marketeer, deliver on that. When
Briefs
you do
are
that,
so important.
yeah, no, briefs are hugely important. And again, go back to the AI point. With AI taking on a lot of the more mundane stuff, people actually start to run briefing processes through AI, fine. But really the focus then should be on, okay, you've got that, AI's just written you this brief and added all the words, but how do you make this come to life? And how do you ensure that a creator reading it's going to go, yeah, I get this sunglasses brand, I know what they stand for, I know what they're trying to do, I know the audience are trying to reach, and I know how to get there. And I think where you do that, you see that, what did you say, 1 + 1 = 3? That's that moment. If you're handing a creator a list that's even a map that gives them a lot of freedom but doesn't really give them that detail, you don't know what they're going to go and do. They don't understand the product. And ultimately, I think the creator's goal just becomes get this job done and hope that it does okay, but ultimately bank the cash. But really you want them to be like, I'm super pumped for this, I want this to do well.
It's really rewarding to see the impact as well, right?
Yeah, they love it. And I think that creators, it's a simple way of doing it. Like, they're all different. So if you think they're all going to read a brief and understand it, then you're kidding yourself. Like, some creators don't work like that. And like me and my wife, we're both creators. What we love is when a brand sends a video we've done in the past and says we want to do something kind of like this, but this is our campaign, so it needs to obviously be different, but at least I know they've seen my content, this is why they're working with me, and I can instantly go, okay.
They would send you an old video of yours.
Yeah, as part of the brief.
That's cool.
And like these example videos, and that's also super, like now with AI, a good example is you can stick a brief that you have, and you can say, go find me a video that a creator's done that would work with that.
Yeah.
You probably need a human to check it because it might find you some really bad examples, but...
How would you feel if Gen AI created a video of you? So it's like it's run through the
As an
brief.
example.
Yeah. Hey, Caspar, we would love you to do this.
I think that's what's great about AI. It can help. It depends if that's the easier way for you to learn how it works. Maybe that's how your brain works. Maybe more visual and videos help you. Yeah. But some people might still just prefer to read it. So like that's the great thing. You can customize exactly what you want.
But I think you need the why in there, don't you? Yeah. You get this video, brand says, hey Caspar, I want you to create this. It's you sat on a yacht doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Caspar can go and create that video, but I still think the impact of that content is going to be a lot less if Caspar doesn't understand the why. Like, why do you, the brand, think Caspar sat on a yacht doing a podcast is going to be a great piece of content? Understand that, and the content that I would argue you'd create in those two scenarios might only be subtly different, but that subtle difference could be, like your McDonald's example, could be the difference between a campaign that reaches and delivers this much impact and one that reaches and delivers this much impact. So, yeah, I think it's that, AI can shorten the gap to understanding, but you still need to be providing that why.
I couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree.
Just edit, just that's where you end the podcast. I couldn't agree, and then it's done.
Get off the boat.
I want to move on to what's next. Caspar, you're not just building with Influencer. You've got other ventures, but you're also backing the next generation of a bunch of ventures. You and Sasha recently closed a 45 million fund for Fund 2 with Creative Ventures. Congratulations. Not long ago, and you already have 4 investments in. You're not wasting any time. AI is the...
Oh, what did I say? What did I say earlier?
It's the season.
It's the season of AI, baby. Don't put that in the highlight reel. I'm like,
Definitely going in the highlight reel.
It's like, jeez.
It's the season end.
Yeah, fuck, never.
You've had some early wins, Runner and Wild. Others as well. Those are 2 that just happened just recently. What are you seeing as early? So, what are the early signals where creator AI and consumer behaviors are heading? And actually, I'm just going to do the same thing again. I've asked a few questions and just memorize that. Direction setting for you, Nick. From your vantage point, what do you see as the overall shift for our category? And then together as brands, creators, AI, and platforms all evolve, what does the next era of influence marketing look like?
So, in terms of creative ventures, we don't just invest in creator kind of businesses, as you mentioned, like Runner, that sort of running app and so on. But some of the stuff within our market that I think is interesting is like one's called Creatify. So it allows a lot of smaller brands at the moment, but they're also now starting to go into enterprise. Just something as simple as take their website, stick it into their program, and then it can create thousands of UGC style pieces of content. And now that's great for say you're like a restaurant on the Crozet here, and in the past you don't have a content team. You're not going to go out and hire UGC creators. Now, but just putting your website in, you can have a bunch of ads go out online, and that's a very basic example of it. And then maybe you decide to use those ads. Maybe you decide to then go and hire someone to remake them, whatever you want to do with it. And so it's giving opportunities in that space to people who weren't doing it before, and it's also giving opportunities to people who were doing it to do it even better, to do it at scale. And that is the one part of the market that I see being very disrupted by AI, in terms of like creators being kind of disrupted and replaced by creator AI avatars. I think that's harder because people ultimately follow people because they're interested in their perspectives and their story. It's kind of the similar reason why you follow a football club, or you like to watch people do sports, versus you could watch two AI robots who are probably stronger than the strongest person. You prefer it to be real. So I think that part of the creator economy is going to get disrupted, but not replaced by AI avatars. So
yeah, I think in the industry we're going to see, again, going back to the whole point about being passive, I think the industry talks a good game about AI, but to be honest, most people aren't going to see it. It's going to operate in the background. It's going to help us do measurement studies better. It's going to help us select creators better. And I actually think you talk about what's next for influencer marketing. I think Caspar touched on it earlier. The industry has really always been about content, and I think it's just waking up to that fact now. The algorithms of TikTok, now being replicated by Meta, now being replicated by YouTube and others, are pushing us to a world where we won't be identifying creators based on audience demographics because it's meaningless. Caspar's followers on TikTok aren't necessarily going to be the followers who see the video of our run club this morning. That's going to go viral, reach 3 million, I don't know how many followers you've got on TikTok. It's going to reach 50 million people. Those people are not going to be your followers. So if we picked you for the run club campaign based on your audience demographics, that's meaningless. But what we should be picking you on is your ability to create the kind of content we want. And that's where AI is going to play a part in going, okay, Caspar produces these kind of videos match the campaign brief, get Caspar on board, he's your guy. So I think that's what we're going to see. But I don't think that's going to manifest itself really in the output to consumers, because to Caspar's point, while some brands and some influencers are experimenting, as everyone does, people are very curious with AI content. I saw a fashion brand the other day doing a load of ads of women wearing these clothes, and it's all AI. But you're like, but those clothes, that woman is not a real woman. Those clothes don't fit that person in reality. So while it's of interest, our consumer's going to look at that and go, oh yeah, that dress would look good on me. Like they know that it's computer generated, so they're not necessarily going to translate into the consumer journey. It doesn't translate into sales, therefore that type of advertising is just going to fade out. I think, the AI is going to be underneath, not on top. You don't think?
I think depends how.
I think it comes back to your point though, like
how good it gets in the next few
brands
years.
will do it and they'll use it for certain aspects, but influencers will always be the pinnacle of
advertising. We agree on that
because
part.
they're people. I don't want to follow a robot and see what the robot did. If Caspar goes, as you did the other week, on a trip to Hungary, what if you got an AI to?
No, I agree with that part. Sorry, maybe I misunderstood. I agree with the part on our part of the industry. We're very lucky, and maybe I'm just saying that because I am in this part of the industry. But I think in terms of if you're just a model, or you're just someone who's just literally creating content, and it could be made by anyone, or even you're maybe the Daily Mail newsreader, where they don't mind who's delivering that information. What they care about is the information and the content. It's going to be hard to distinguish, especially on your For You page and so on. And so in years to come, it's not there yet, but it's
going to make the base content easier and quicker to deliver.
Exactly.
But I still think, if anything, I think AI content creation is going to bring the top end of content into sharper focus, and that top end will always be, to a greater or lesser extent, human-led, because that's what people want to see, and that's what they want to consume.
It's that organic influencer marketing side, definitely. But
I don't want to see Caspar's AI journey around Hungary, as he did the other week. It wasn't AI. I want to see Caspar's.
Was actually.
Was it? It was awful. I want to see Caspar's actual journey, because I want, as a consumer, might want to go to Hungary and I want to go to those places.
Yeah, of course.
Caspar goes, I went to this bar, it's a fantastic vibe. I don't want to be like, well, that was just an AI telling me it's a fantastic vibe.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're very lucky to be in this part of the industry.
What do you get? Free trips to Hungary.
We're going to jump to the this or that questions. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Feel free to give one-word answers, one-sentence answers, or to go in different tangents.
Yeah.
But now we've got 5 minutes.
I'm meant to be in it. Apparently, I looked at my calendar and it says I'm meant to be in a shower.
We did just go for a run.
Yeah. So I'm just going to click my fingers and I'm going to be in my shower in 2 minutes.
Let's go. Conversion or community?
Depends
I
what
don't
you
like
want.
the word community, but community over conversion.
Yeah.
The community
Why
is a
not the word
weird
community?
thing. Like this whole influencers don't have a community. As I said, the algorithms are pushing people to reach a global audience. It's not a community.
Would you agree with that?
Influencers
It
have an
depends
interest
I know
and a passion,
Nick's
but
very much in his
community,
definitions,
no,
and
no.
I wouldn't agree with you, Nick, but we'll move on.
More community coming now. Community strategy or media plan?
Jeez. These questions all depend what you're looking for in that.
Take the word community off. Strategy, media gone. Plan. Strategy, plan. What do you want to do, and how are you going to achieve it, and then how are you actually going to roll it out?
You need both?
Yeah, of course. You can't have a plan without a strategy, and a strategy without a plan is just theory on a page, isn't it?
Creator-led brand or brand-led creator?
Oh my god.
What do you mean by brand-led creator?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know what to say.
Brand-led creator is, so in that sort of, a brand-led creator would be a brand telling the creator what to do,
Oh,
and a creator-led brand would be the creator telling the brand what to do.
okay.
You've got to meet in the middle. Brands understand their product, they understand their industry. Creators understand. I was going to say their audience, but they don't.
Their community?
No, they don't understand their community. They understand their interests, their passion points, and they understand social media, and they understand how to get a message with impact out. You've got to meet in that middle.
Yeah.
So it's do a combination of those two things if you can, very quickly in your mind. To a creator-led, brand-led.
Yeah. I just had this funny visualization of you being in the Cannes jury room telling people communities are a thing.
Sucks. Yeah, get
They
off.
would.
It's such a meaningless
They
buzzword.
would have.
Interests and
Freaked
passion
out.
points, absolutely fine. Community, no. Not
Oh
in a
my
community.
gosh.
I like running, I like football, I like climbing. I'm not in those communities. I like those things. That's a completely different thing.
Oh, come on.
Community
We
means
can
we
talk
all
about
meet
it.
You're
at
on a
5 o'clock.
WhatsApp group with your community of runners.
No, I'm not. I'm not. This is.
AI
You live a very lonely
optimized.
life,
Yeah,
Nick. What did you? Sorry.
I'm conscious of your 5
Yeah,
minutes.
sorry.
And you're
Going to do 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
AI optimized or human curated?
Ooh. I mean, I love both.
I think you're saying two things, but straight down the middle. I'm just boring.
That's also an
I
option.
love both, but it depends on what am I doing, like a real conversion, like paid campaign? Sounds like AI optimized would be great. Am I doing some really exciting creative marketing campaign? Then the other one would be good.
It's funny, isn't it? You could almost do it in 3. I think you get AI to optimize what you're doing, the human
Yeah.
then curates, and then you get AI to optimize it a little bit more at the end.
Yeah.
I've never heard you say AI so many
I know,
times.
well, yeah.
We're gonna
He
make
loves
it.
it.
Can we make an edit?
It is the season.
How many times?
Community as well.
You
Should we
definitely
try and not
should.
say AI for the rest of Cannes?
For the rest of Cannes.
Should we
Good
make
luck.
that? That'll be a funny game. I'm gonna do that on all my panels. I'm gonna be like, I'm playing this game where I can't say these 2 letters.
Like, have a wild guess what they are.
Yeah.
Reach or relevance?
Relevance. Yeah.
You've got to lean one way or the other. To Caspar's point earlier, relevance is more important. You're going to reach millions of people. It's pointless if it's an irrelevant
Yeah.
message.
I got
Perfect.
this friend called Josh Peters who gets loads of reach, but he's completely irrelevant.
Wow.
Wonderful ending. And on that, we'll end the podcast. Gentlemen, thank you so very much.
I love you,
Doctor, I'm
Josh.
sorry.
I love you. See you
Friend.
later. Best friend, best man.
Imagine being his enemy.
But he's relevant to me, I guess.
Yes.
He's relevant to
You're
me.
best man.